So considering I work with the 16 runes of the Younger Futhark, the reading deck that I use has a lot of runes. And that is because each rune is present 3 times. Now, when it comes to rune reading, I am not here to define that what I do is right. What I'm here to do is share what works for me. And my advice is really simple. Give it a go. And if it works for you, fantastic. Integrate it into what you're already doing. And if it doesn't work for you, then maybe you've learned something about what you already do that does work. Because I don't think there is one right way to read the runes or the tarot. So I'm just going to demonstrate how I read the runes. Of course, I do have more traditional rune sets as well. They're small discs of wood which will have a rune on the front and the back, but never the same rune. Which the point is, it allows each rune to turn up in the past and the present and the future, because that was how I was taught to read runes, and basically it works. So I'm just going to do a demonstration now, and then I will share some rune readings that I remember where multiple runes have come up in the past, just to give some context, really. So, I mean, this is my rune deck. You can purchase it from my website. The sets available are for one set of runes. If you're working with a single deck of runes, what you can do is pull a rune for the past, note it down, put it back, reshuffle all 16, pull one for the present, note it down, put it back, and you can do it that way if you want to have the full experience of each rune being able to be present, past, present, future. Because I'm working with a deck, I do transpose some of my tarot sort of tips onto the rune reading, which is that I cut the deck. And then for me, I'm working very much with the Norns here. So I pull one rune to represent the past. I don't have a question or a focus. I'm actually just about to head off for my first 2-week holiday without any of the children. After 22 years of parenting, I'm going solo. So it's probably going to be picking up on that. And just like with tarot, what I like to do is read the first rune without the context of the next two, and adjust the context as I go. So the first rune, the rune to represent my past, the rune is Os, the deity is Odin. Well, my first teacher was very Odinic. Odin has been a huge part of my life, teaching me about shamanics and the runes. And I think of all the runes, he probably does represent Nordic wisdom, which has changed and shaped my life, and I'm incredibly grateful for that. So I think this rune to me is representing how much my relationship with the runes has shaped my life. Where am I right now? There you go. I did wonder whether this is a genuine reading, of course. I did wonder whether we'd get a double. I mean, I have done readings where I've had triple, the same rune, past, present and future. Where am I now? I am actually more deeply reconnecting with the runes. They've always been there. They've always been a part of my life. But I've tended to keep it a little bit more private than the tarot, because the way that I work with the runes is very much from me. I haven't based it on books or other people's work. And so it's more raw to share my journey with the runes. But I do feel very drawn to do it. When I think about Odin, I think about the preemptive strike. He works out what he wants, and then he works out how he's going to get there. And actually, when I'm away for my 2 weeks, I go on Easter Monday. I want to do that. I want to plan ahead. And also, as I look at this, I'm thinking about Odin, and his real power happened when he sacrificed himself to himself and hung upon the world tree. Well, where I'm going, it's very remote, not a lot of Wi-Fi signal. I'm taking a lot of my food and drink with me, and I intend to spend a lot of time just walking and reflecting and reading and being still. And I'm hoping to reconnect with an inner wisdom that will help me to plan for my future. So I guess it's very Odinic. Let's have a look at the card for the future. I'm glad it's not a third Odin. I have to be honest with that. The card for the future, the rune is Marn and the deity is Freya. Well, in my tradition, you have two patrons, deities or runes that are considered to be a part of your soul. And it can take a while to find them because it's deeply personal. This isn't something that anyone else tells you, and it often takes time to really connect with that deeper part of your soul. But Freya is definitely one of my two patrons. And this does feel like finding stillness in the madness to find myself once more. And so that's how I read the runes. One for the past, for Urd, all that has yet been. One for the present, Verdandi, the present moment that is still becoming. And one for the future, called the as yet unformed future. The idea being that this one isn't yet set in stone. So if we get to this rune and we don't like it, then we can learn the lessons from the past. We can make better use of the present, and then we can always change the future. I did a reading for someone very recently, actually, where she was trying to find herself, trying to explore who she was, what she wanted in life. She wasn't quite sure. We had Tear for the past, and I said, you've been trying to find the truth of who you are for quite some time. This is Tear's nail, the North Star, the Pole Star, stays in the same place, hanging above the North Pole. It's this sense of a universal truth in your life. And she had that for the past and the present. And I did say to her, I think you're still seeking. She was single. She just hadn't worked out what she wanted for her life. And the third rune was Bjork for Frigg. Now, sometimes in a reading, I offer up different meanings and allow my clients to register which is the meaning for her, even though intuitively I might have a very strong feel. And I talked about Frigg being a wife, didn't feel right for me and got no emotional reaction from my client. A mother, again, didn't feel right for me, no emotional reaction from my client. And I said she also works with plants. She can be plant medicine, herbalist, gardening, anything to do with harvesting, if you like, the energies of our earth. And my client and it felt right to me. And my client immediately said, I've been wondering whether to retrain as a herbalist. And there it is. Finding her truth, working quite a corporate everyday job, wanting to do something with her hands that was healing, that was earth-based. And as a tarot reader, working with the runes has really impacted me, because in an average reading with me, which is 50 minutes, is my most popular spot, I will do a lot of smaller readings. I might do a 3-card reading, then a 9-card reading, then a 3-card reading. By doing lots of smaller readings, some of those might be quite speedy, I'm giving every card the potential to come back multiple times. Because just because I've read, let's pick the tower, just because I've read the tower for your past doesn't mean you're not still in a tower moment and it isn't yet to revisit. So this idea of multiple smaller readings, because obviously 3 times 78 gets a bit unmanageable. In my early days, actually what I used to do is set out an initial spread using the larger carded Druidcraft Tarot, and then read that, and then take my Rider-Waite-Smith, shuffle, and lay a spread on the spread of the Druidcraft decks. Again, giving permission to the same card to come twice. And however you choose to read tarot and all the runes, my advice is really reflect on your reading, validate, did that work? Was that accurate? Was it helpful? And then leverage whatever is working for you, because we are all so different.